Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, before we jump into this week's Sunday's field report, let's check in with Richard from Kenmore. He's got a live report from the Columbia. It looks like he migrated south, got away from the Puget Sound area and came down where the Super Bowl of salmon fishing, which seems to drive a lot of people saying crazy, people talking about that. But anyway, Richard, what's going on?
Hey, Owen, I appreciate you letting me come down and catch some fish on your river. It's been really good. Went 6 for 8 on Chinook. Released some wild coho. Released hatchery steelhead, and it was pretty good. Short bus flashers and uncomfortably short soft Bronco spinners and 16 ounces of lead.
You know you're talking to a guy from the Puget Sound area when he says uncomfortably short, isn't it? 18 to 22 inches for a leader behind your 360 is a little different for you, isn't it?
It's really different, especially coming from using downriggers and then to using lead. It's really a controlled drop is your best. If you want to get down and have your stuff, I've seen a lot of people letting down and then seeing main line where the spinner comes back in front of the flasher. And,
yep.
I just think a controlled drop of 4 feet at a time, letting it come to a rest and a couple of pumps and then down. So that was the only thing I've seen. And that, and I'm having a problem with hard spinners. The reason I switched to soft spinners because sometimes I notice on that blade doesn't spin all the time on those hard spinners.
Well, that should never really happen. That's one of the benefits of a hard spinner. One of the things that you want to look at is if you catch a couple of fish on a hard spinner or a standard wired spinner, everyone, sometimes your clevis can get pinched, and that will stop the blade from wanting to spin very freely. So that might be something to consider. And always, no matter if you're buying your spinners pre-made, and it could be from 100 different manufacturers, it seems like these days, just make sure that metal bearing bead is also in good shape. But yeah, typically you shouldn't have any issue there. But were all your bites on a spinner, or were you fishing any like super baits or spinning fish or anything like that as well?
I had so much confidence in a spin fish that I left it down for 15 minutes, and then I switched everything over to spinners.
He had so much confidence. Well, hey, listen, don't fix what ain't broke. If the spinner's getting bit, swap it all out, right?
It's just really, you're right on that 20, 19 inch, 21 inch, 22 inch leader. That is something but I totally get it. I see it on the kick and what you guys are looking for in that pull and the tug and how much it actually jerks it. The longer the leader, the shorter the jerk. I can totally see what you're looking for. So I totally get it.
Would it work up where you fish up in the Puget Sound area?
With the currents and stuff, the way that it's going, when I'm throwing a spoon like that, that's what my spoon's doing, but it's jerking at like 6 or 8 inches, that piece of metal.
Gotcha.
So I'm getting the same thing, but it's just, you need to come up and fish with me so I can show you this stuff on. I'd love to show you how much different it is up there. I think you'd have a blast.
I know I would. I'd love to come up one of these days and do some shrimping with you or something. I've never done that, never other than up in Alaska. That'd be something I'd love to do, but I would love to see how you guys do that with spoons. See if we can morph it, to work in the Columbia as well somehow. I don't know, but hey, Richard, thank you.
That's what I'm saying. On I think the 360. I think it's more versatile, and I think that you're missing the boat on some squids and some ace high flies with a short leader. I'm definitely going to experiment with that for sure.
Very cool, Richard. Thanks for the report, man. Congratulations. Now, are you going to be there for a few more days, or are you heading back north?
No, we've been here since Thursday, and it sounds like Puget Sound, with each incoming tide, getting flushes and flushes of coho. So from here on out, it's going to be nothing but hook nose silvers.
Very good. Darn good eating, no question about it. Richard, good luck. Be safe on your travels, man. We look forward to hearing from you again in the future, okay?
Hey, I appreciate you, John. Have a great day.
You too, Richard. Take care, bud. Let's quickly go to Rick in Salem. He's got a question about tuna. I'll do the best I can to help him out there, if at all. I'm not much of a salty guy, but we'll go for it. Rick, what's going on?
Hey, question about tuna being so close to shore.
Yeah.
Last year, we were outside of the condos off the Columbia, and we were within 5-6 miles, 140 feet of water, and 52 degree, and got into a bunch of 12 to 18-inch tuna. And I personally, I wasn't sure what they were when I first caught them because they were on the small side. But have you ever heard of them being that close?
Not that small. I mean, I have heard of them that close for sure, but not that small. That's interesting that you ran across a school or a pod of albacore that were that size, that were this far right in the Pacific. That's interesting. Were you able to get photos?
You know what? We ended up limiting out on our salmon, so I was filleting those up and never took photos of them.
Gotcha. Well, no, I mean, they absolutely can end up that close. I've heard of them, you know, salmon fishermen, much like yourself, in that range that have caught them in the past. It all depends on how that warm water gets pushed over. If it's a solid west wind, if it's a southwest wind where it can blow some of the warmer water in closer, you might see them come in like that. But it's the size that you're referring to that's very interesting. But hey, Rick, well done. I mean, not everybody can say that they caught a 12, 13-inch tuna within eye shot of the shoreline. That's interesting all by itself. But good luck when you get back out there, Rick.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, after 30 years of doing that out there, that's my first, so it caught me off guard.
I'm sure it did. It is certainly not something that you're going to see very often. Like you said, 30 years to finally run across one. That is interesting. Rick, thanks for your call, bud. We appreciate it.
Hey,
all right, let's jump into the fish counts real quick, and we're going to show you that 10-year as well. Well, we're going to show the 10-year right now. So if you take a look at it, we had that big bounce, and then you're going to see when we pull up the numbers on how far it dropped, but it is very, very consistent with how the 10-year and last year, but we had that significant bounce in this red line. Again, that is for this year. You can see that's still very, very normal to see that change. It was a shot of cool water that kind of got those fish to make a quick move. Let's go ahead and show the numbers for Bonneville if you can. But you can see that we're about ready to be in that spot where it's going to absolutely bounce, right? The end of August going into the first week of September dropped down quite a bit yesterday. I didn't look at the flow coming out of Bonneville. That could have something to do with it, to see it just get halved just like that. But at the very least, very much normal. It just, when I look at this, what I'm thinking is that the fish are holding up and they're not going over the dam. So for us that spend time below it, I mean, it's ever the optimist, right? I'm a duck hunter. I can't help myself. Those fish are holding up. Again, I'm trying to be optimistic there. All right, go ahead. The Columbia, the river itself, very, very low. You can see at the bottom of the tides when you get into Thursday is going to be sub 1, you know, that 0.2, 0.5, whatever it is. It's going to be very, very low. Remember, if you're going to do the anchor gig, play the tide so that you know when you need to be there. And if you're in the wrong tide, you just can't get there based on that, then you start trolling. Because, again, they're going to start holding up. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to be chasing them a little bit this week. Also, don't forget to bug Jason over there at ProCure. A number of reasons to do so. But before we get there, the rods and reels in need. This is, again, going on today. They did it yesterday. It went so well yesterday that they wanted to extend this a little bit, where you can go get yourself rods and reels, pick up something that you like to have, and they're using all the proceeds. And for that matter, if you wanted to donate something, by all means do so. But they want to use those proceeds so that they can buy rod and reel combos for the kids, new ones, when they go out and do some trout fishing. So, or for whatever fish that they might be targeting. But you always want to have some ProCure, and you might be able to get it free. Each week they do a giveaway for us, and we truly do appreciate that support from Steve and Jason and Phil and everyone over there at ProCure for doing that for us. It's really the only giveaway we get to do anymore. So make sure you send them that email. All right, let's check in with Katie Suniga. I have slowed her down way too much already today. Katie, it's good to see you. Looks like things are changing for real. This
says it all right here. Summer heat returns.
Yeah.
It's coming back. I'm sure you're going to be busting out your flip-flops again if you're not already wearing them today.
Always. Don't matter how. I got them.
Yes, we're going to be getting hot again, folks. This sort of fake fall or false fall, however you want to say it, that we've had the last couple of weeks, turning back into summer conditions. Here's what it looks like today. It will be warmer than yesterday. You'll see temperatures upper 60s, low 70s along the coast, mid upper 70s to low 80s through the metro and valleys, and then out to the east through the gorge, and then mainly 70-degree temperatures to the east. For the clouds, not much expected, just a few clouds here or there all the way through until we get to Monday evening. Once we start going into those evening hours, you'll see a few clouds. Then by 10 o'clock, some showers along the coast. Those come through to the metro area by about 2 a.m. Then they drop down a little by 4, and then you'll see some showers through the valley around 6, and then that clears out. And at this point, this is when we take off and we start to see some additional summer temperatures. As far as accumulation, we're only looking at right around that 2 to 4 a.m. hour that we could see some of those showers in the metro area, and at that only 1/100 of an inch, so not much there. This has been the culprit of the cold false fall weather. And then these are the warmer temperatures. This is that quick chance for showers that we have on Tuesday. And then this is the high pressure that's bringing us the very warm to hot afternoon temperatures. You see this here on your 7-day, upper 70s today and tomorrow. These are like 2 awesome days to me. Even still pretty nice on Tuesday, cool back down. Some people are starting school that day. And then Wednesday, that's when it ramps up and we get back to those hot upper 80s to low 90s. And that right now looks like it would last through the weekend. So kind of hot going into September.
Is it looking like that heat wave is going to extend for a little while, or is it just a handful of days?
Right now, it looks like it's at least going to go through Sunday.
Gotcha.
So those upper 80s to low 90s. So we'll see how things pan out as we get closer. Well,
that's okay. We've been lucky. It's been a really good August, at least in my opinion. We got to get back to a little bit of summer before it's all over with.
And we have to stick to the cold, dreary weather for a while.
There you go. Katie, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we've got a package for you from the Mill Casino. If you have not been there before and you like to go to casinos, which I'm not a gambler per se, but what an awesome facility. And the options that you have from fishing to running the dunes. It was awesome. We'll be back with that in a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.